With the growing epidemic of drug overdoses and drug-related deaths, I wanted to see if there's a connection between how people live and the effect it has on their lives and try to come up with a solution to help. There is a webcomic written and drawn by Stuart McMillan that gives a good outline of the Rat Park experiments conducted in the 1970s. These experiments were headed by Bruce K. Alexander to take a new view on how drug addiction actually operates. McMillan writes, "Our understanding of addiction, our understanding of drugs, is built on many assumptions. One of the biggest assumptions is that drugs are seductively addictive, with drug addiction caused by mere exposure to their bewitching substances." Before this experiment, experiments on this subject were conducted on rats in small cages with nothing else to do or other rats to play with. It was almost like a jail. Rats are naturally social animals such as humans. They need stimulation and other rats to socialize with. Bruce realized this and started his experiments with two groups: rats in cages, like the past, and rats in an enclosure that he built with places to nest, toys to play with, and other rats to socialize with. He also gave each group a choice between morphine-laced water and plain water. McMillan also writes, "From the study, Professor Alexander concluded that continued substance abuse was not simply due to the effects of the drug, but that certain environmental factors could trigger a higher likelihood of addiction. More specifically, the Rat Park rats were provided with tools that benefited their mental health, examples of which are freedom to run around, toys to encourage and play, and active socialization with others, were not only less likely to consume the morphine water, but when forcibly made addicted, were more likely to resist the drug and pursue sobriety." Other experiments going forward, such as the famous Mouse Utopia experiments, have highlighted these findings, though in the Mouse Utopia experiments it has been found that too much social interaction can be detrimental to the mental health of the mice. From these experiments we can see that when social creatures deprived of interaction and stimulus are offered drugs, they take it to numb the pain, usually at the cost of their own health. Though when given the proper amount of social interaction in a healthy environment, these animals are able to stave off the drugs. Zoos are also a place that we can see environment play a role in animals' health. Around Pittsburgh, we have zoos that seem to care for their animals mentally and physically, though that is not always the case. Too often there are stories of people trying to start zoos or establish zoos simply not caring for their animals correctly. Tigers are a prime example because of their large population in zoos. A study of Virginia Tech in 2003 had this to say: "The results of this study showed clearly that tigers kept in more natural and complex enclosures performed less stereotypic pacing, unnatural behavior, and more exploratory, natural behaviors than those housed in less natural enclosures. Such behavior included pacing, head bobbing, and over-grooming." Someone who can elaborate more on animals in captivity acting strange is my aunt. She has worked in multiple pet stores around Pittsburgh and has also worked with a veterinarian in the past. She also has 2 dogs and 4 birds as pets. Hello. State your name and your relation to me.
I feel like I'm under interrogation.
You are.
Joni Randall, and I'm your aunt.
Yeah. What was the name of the pet shop you worked at? I know you worked at 3. What was the name of the middle one?
Pet Supplies Plus.
Pet Supplies Plus. Is it still in business?
Yes.
All right. What age did you start working there?
21.
21?
Yes.
What year is that?
Don't find you funny.
And why did you start working there?
Because I needed a job.
Okay.
And they had animals.
They had animals. What kind of animals did they sell?
We sold fish and snakes, birds, mice, rats, hamsters.
All the same.
No, they're not all the same. Bunnies, ferrets. Yeah, we
Okay.
sold a bunch of different animals.
How did they act? They act like nervous or happy?
Most of them were well adjusted. We got most of them as babies that we hand raised. So most of them were adjusted to people, and the birds we would take out and walk around the store with them while we would clean their cages or change their food and water bowls.
Okay. Do you have any pets? And what kinds?
I do. I have 4 birds and 2 dogs.
Okay. And how do they act?
Crazy.
Crazy?
Yes. My newest dog is about a year old, and we have a trainer coming next week to work with him because he's a little out of control. And the birds do pretty good. They have really large cages so that they can move around while I'm at work and flap their wings, and they have a lot of toys they can play with.
Okay. What do you think would happen to like an animal, say for a dog, if you were to put it in confined space like a kennel?
I believe it impacts their personality a lot. They are made to be with other dogs and people. They're pack, and to have them in a cage or a kennel without that interaction, some of them become depressed. Some of them become very sad. Some of them start to act out aggressively. They don't learn social skills and how to interact and behave appropriately.
Okay. Now let's say that we take away the confined space, but we put them in an open space, but by themselves, without any other dogs.
I think we have the same type of reaction if they were in a kennel, because they're still not getting the social interaction. Even having more space, they're not getting the socialization that they need. Is their pack. They need other animals, other people with them.
All right. Now what if we would put other animals, like other dogs or other people, in that open space with them? And in the closed space?
In a closed space, it might be a little stressful because they don't have their own safe place to go to get away if there's too much activity, or if a little kid's pulling on their ears and they can't leave a room. That can lead to bad behaviors. But in an open space with people, I think that's where they flourish the most.
Okay. Would you ever work in a pet store again?
I would. I think it would depend on the pet store. A lot of them now don't allow selling certain types of animals because of those things with the socialization and how their care is. But depending on the store and how they take care of them, I would consider it.
Okay. Is there anything that you would do that you could impact stores that would improve them?
Speaking with managers, if you see an animal that's sick, bring it to their attention. I myself tend to stay out of the pet stores because then I want to bring more home.
Hence the 4 birds.
Yes.
Now, most of your dogs, they were rescues, right?
Yes.
How did the other dogs act like in the rescue?
At the rescues, a lot of them they're either overly excited because they see people and they see that as a way to get out of the kennel, so they tend to act out by jumping and barking a lot. Some of them they're kind of depressed to be there, usually with owner turn-ins where they don't understand what's going on, will just sit in a corner and not react, not come out and try and meet the people.
Okay. Say hi to Dr. Harold.
Hi, Dr. Harold.
All right. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Ways that people can help their social, mental, and physical health are pretty simple, though they can be life-changing. It's a popular saying that for people to get off drugs, they should stay away from the people that they used to hang out with before in their old life. There is also much documentation on nutrition and being healthy. According to a study from Harvard, headed by Dr. Eva Schlub, your brain is like an expensive car, and when you put anything but premium fuel into it, bad things will happen. She recommends watching how and what you eat affects your mood, not only in that moment, but in the following days. She also recommends cutting off all processed sugars for 2 to 3 weeks by going on a clean diet. Then reintroduce the foods you used to eat one by one. Her patients are extremely surprised by how good they felt on the clean diet and how bad they felt after reintroducing the food. Socially, we can change the way we build infrastructure. Major cities are very populated, but not many people are there that you know. Barcelona is combating this by transforming major city blocks into car-free superblocks. This not only allows greater social benefits by being able to meet and interact with new people, but it also will look after your mental health, because in these blocks usually are slower paced and less stressful than when people are rushing around angry in traffic. They also help physical health because there's less amounts of brake dust and car exhaust polluting the air, thus making it cleaner. To recap, in today's world there are too many people that have poor social, mental, and physical health due to their environment. This allows them to become more susceptible to drugs and other dangerous activities. When people look after their social, mental, and physical health, they become happier and healthier, even if they only act in a small way.